Hello, welcome to Michelle's House again. I'm Michelle, and it is day 12 of Vlogmas. So welcome. I know I've missed a couple of days, but as I mentioned before, I was traveling. I intended to do Friday sews, I just didn't have time. Friday was my last day of work in the corporate office, and then I had to fly home, and I didn't get home till midnight. Just didn't have time. And yesterday, Saturday, I was exhausted. So I was scheduled to fly. I fly in and out of Fort Lauderdale usually because the airport is so much smaller and easier to navigate than the Miami airport. Where we live is actually equal distance from both airports. So we could go to either one. It doesn't matter from a traveling from our house perspective, but Fort Lauderdale is just so much easier. I have never flown through Miami. My husband had mentioned to me that it was a bit of a quagmire. However, my flight on Friday, my flight home, oh goodness, I'm a mess. My flight home was scheduled to come through Fort Lauderdale, but I had a connecting flight because on Friday they didn't have any direct flights from Cleveland to Fort Lauderdale. So I agreed to the flight that had the connection because I didn't have a choice, but it wasn't getting in until midnight. And so on Thursday, I asked the admin to look and see if there were any direct flights from Cleveland to Miami, since it is equal distance and we were flying at the end of the day, so I knew I'd be landing in the evening, hopefully not at midnight. She checked and there was a direct flight to Miami landing about 10 o'clock. So I'm like, oh, that's better. I mean, 10 is better than midnight, right? So I had her change it. And it was the biggest mistake I've made in a while. When I got on the plane, I realized she gave me an aisle seat. I really prefer the window seat. I like to be able to see like in proximity where I am to the ground or water or whatever. So sitting in the middle gives me kind of claustrophobia, and I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm gonna crawl out of my skin. But I had the window seat on a very tiny plane, which surprised me that it was such a small jet going from Cleveland to Miami, but it was one of those ones that's just 2 seats on either side. I had a very nice seatmate, so that wasn't a problem. The seats were small, they were uncomfortable. It wasn't a pleasant flight. The first half hour of the 2.5 hour flight was very bumpy. The rest of it was smooth, so it was fine. It was fine. Then I landed in Miami, and where they let us off, because it was a small plane, was on the tarmac at as far at the end of the airport as you can possibly get. And then the baggage claim is at the other far end as far as you can get. Walking to the shuttle, or the shuttle train that takes you to bag claim, that felt like a mile walk in and of itself. Then you get to the other side and it's like up and down and up and down. And then they didn't have my flight on the baggage claim board. So out of carousels 21 through 29, I didn't know which one had my flight, and baggage claim was full. Like there were a lot of flights landing at the same time. I walked back and forth. I finally figured it out. And then getting picked up, like they have a lane, they have a drive area for Uber and Lyft pickups, and they have a line for family and friends pickup, and they're separated by a median. So you're supposed to go in one section if you're family and friends and one section if you're Uber. So that you know where to wait for your pickup. Of course, it's screwed up. Both lanes had both Uber and Lyft and family and friends pickups. So I wasn't sure which lane my husband was gonna come through, so I'm standing in the middle median trying to make sure that I catch him either way. The whole thing was a nightmare, and I'm never flying through Miami again. I would much rather have had a connecting flight, landed in Fort Lauderdale at midnight, than go through what I went through at Miami, because it was exhausting and miserable. Enough ranting. Everything's fine now. But that's just to say that all that walking, like I think I did about almost 10,000 steps just in that airport that night. And my knees can't handle that. So I was in a lot of pain yesterday and just tired. So I rested all day. But today I'm ready to jump back into Vlogmas. Wow, that was a long diatribe. Anyway, I'm back onto Vlogmas, and today's favorite make of my favorite make countdown advent Vlogmas is my Caladium Jumpsuit by Katamiya Patterns. And she is an independent designer. She doesn't have very many patterns, but this one I jumped on early. It was either late spring or early summer. I saw the most gorgeous version from Ruthie on So Many Flowers on Instagram. If I will link her Instagram channel below, but she has a version in this stunning fabric that her husband had bought her as a gift. I was gonna flat out copy her. I want that fabric. I looked everywhere for it and couldn't find it. If you know where that fabric is, let me know because it's absolutely gorgeous. But go on Ruthie's Instagram, search for Caladium Jumpsuit, and you will see what I'm talking about. So I knew I needed the pattern. I couldn't find her fabric, so I went with this fabric that I had bought last year and I made some pajama pants from, and it didn't really work out, but I loved the fabric. This is a Tula Pink fabric. It is quilting cotton, but it's very thin. Like it's got drape, it's not super stiff. And it's just this gorgeous, like paint pour, oil slick kind of print. And it comes in two different colorways and two different prints. So one of the prints kind of has some, I want to say like unicorns and stars maybe, but I like the one without. And what's fabulous about this fabric is it's 108 inches. So for these super wide legs, I was able to cut them out in the 108. I think if I had had a 55 inch, for my size, maybe not for a smaller size, but for my size, I would have had to have pieced these legs together. And with the 108 inch fabric, I did not have to do that. It is a reversible. Well, first of all, I did a review on this, so I'm going to link it up in the cards up here. So if you want more detail than what I'm about to give you, then go check that out. But it is a reversible in that you can wear either neckline in the front. So one side has a V neckline, one side has a square neckline. I've styled both necklines in two different ways. So I did the square neckline first, and I'll insert some video here of a twirl. And I styled that with just a navy V-neck long sleeve sweater and some black strappy wedges. And I put probably my most fun necklace on. It's a really chunky gemstone, colorful gemstone 3-strand necklace that I bought on Etsy years ago. I will link the shop if it's still around in the description box because it should be in my Etsy shopping history. But I love that necklace and I get compliments on it every time I wear it. So I just felt like the need to color up since I was wearing a solid top and my black strappy heels. So I put the colorful necklace on and I put some green gemstone stud earrings in that I got from Stella and Dot many years ago. I used to sell it. I didn't do very well. I bought more than I sold. Anyway, so that's my first styling, and I think that looked really cute. And then the second way is the way that I would probably wear it most often, only because I don't wear my wedges that often anymore. And I found this ready-to-wear chambray and white striped blouse. It's got these fun bell sleeves with the ruffle. It's just got a basic crew neck with a keyhole and a tie. This is a great example of being able to use some clothing in your closet that you might not be able to wear otherwise. So this top I can't wear with just pants because it's way too snug around my middle. But under this, it works perfectly. So I'm glad that I know this because I'm about to do a closet purge before our move. And I'll be able to keep this one because now I know I can wear it under pinafores and my Caladium jumpsuit. And I also paired this with no necklace, and I paired it just with some gold hoops and some ruby earrings and my purple Converse because of the purple. So that's my two styling options. I think that this could benefit from a belt but I don't own one because I don't like things tight around my middle, but I think from a look perspective, a styling perspective, a belt or a sash or something would look really cute on this. I don't know, I might think about putting in some loops or something so that I have the option to wear a sash if I want to. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Anyway, I would love to know if you've made the Caladium jumpsuit, and if you have, do you love it? Do you not? Did you have any trouble with it? The only thing I would say is the straps are a little bit wide for me. You do have to, the underarm section has to be wide enough to go over your hips. But then from there down, I feel like it's a little bit too wide on me. So I think that I could easily grade in and kind of shape it a little bit so that it doesn't look so boxy. But other than that, I love it. It's super comfy. So I would recommend this pattern because it's a super easy thing to make. I did bias binding that I had bought on Etsy. I did this fun orange that I thought accented really well. Anyway, so that is my favorite make for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Wherever you are, I hope the weather is amazing. It is absolutely gorgeous where I am today. I hope you're able to get some sewing in. I am about to start on my Fen shirt, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.